Welcome to Rusty Shackelford's Grizzly Reviews. I'm Rusty Shackelford, and I'm here with my friend Poseidon. We just saw Ridley Scott's newest film, The Martian, starring Matt Damon.
I guarantee you that at some point, everything's gonna go south on you.
Ready?
And you're gonna say, this is it. This is how I end.
Commander, Mark is dead.
We have to go now.
Now you can either accept that, or you can get to work.
The Martian is a story of astronaut Mark Whitney as he's left stranded and assumed dead on the planet Mars after an emergency evacuation. Whitney, a botanist, is then charged with healing his wounds, stretching his food supply, and making contact with NASA back on Earth. This survivalist story presents an interesting and modern twist on the classic tale of man versus nature in the most extreme of scenarios.
I'm gonna have to science the shit out of this.
And so, what did you think of the film?
Okay, so overall, the film was actually really well done. The visuals were stunning. The story was very coherent. It moved very smoothly. Lots of drama, lots of character conflict, and then a lot of conflict with nature, as you would expect in a survival movie. You know, it's almost like MacGyver meets Gilligan's Island, which is it's just a lot of crazy solutions to problems that you really couldn't expect. I thought the science was solid. I thought the story was solid. Overall, it was just a great movie.
Yeah, I really didn't know what to expect coming into the movie. It is something that the trailer tells you everything you need to know about the film, but it's very well executed. And there's not too much that you can complain about that. I mean, it's obviously nice to have surprises in films, things that come out of left field, or to, just genuinely, see a story that you don't know coming in. But I would also much rather have something that's solidly executed and builds upon strong building blocks and keeps things moving forward. I thought, Matt Damon is at his best in this movie, and it's a strong cast of supporting characters as well. I didn't really think anyone detracted from the movie, and pretty much everybody gave something different.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't think that you should give it discredit. I mean, it wasn't a predictable movie, other than the fact that the overarching storyline was predictable. A lot of things happened that I really didn't see coming. There's definitely times when they played with your emotions, changing some of the music cues, some of the sound effects. At various times, I just expected everything to get screwed up, and it didn't happen. Sometimes there was really happy music, and everything went to crap, and it really did play with your emotions. I do feel like what it effectively did, particularly with the characters, is it drew you into the movie. You actually cared. You wanted there to be more time. You wanted to fight the bureaucracy. You wanted the quick fixes. You I feel like you actually cared about the characters.
One of the best ways they did it, I thought, was an effective use of humor throughout the movie. When things are going bad, I at least me and you, I know, I make jokes about things in bad situations, and they did a lot of that. There was, anytime something went bad, somebody had a smart aleck comment, or you just saw the frustration in bad but outwardly funny scenarios. And it really drew me into liking a lot of the characters. It made them feel very human, very multidimensional. Even people that have much smaller roles, which is a lot of times a hard thing for movies to pull off. You don't want the smaller people to just be pure plot devices. You want them to appear like they actually matter. And overall, I thought most of the characters really added to the story, and I believed that they belonged.
You do care about all the characters, the engineers, the little small guys, even the people sitting at mission control staring at the console. I think there was an effective portrayal of drama in the way that they reacted to the various scenes. Not what you'd probably consider traditional drama. I didn't feel like there was tears or anxiousness, except for maybe towards the end. But it really was like, how do we get ourselves in this situation? How do we get out of it? It was definitely a conflict that nobody was prepared for, and they were left kind of alone. It is in many ways a modern remake of Apollo 13, but it seems like it's almost hammed down a little bit. Like, it's very tense and silent and slow and methodical in what it does.
So we've talked a lot about Matt Damon. Matt Damon, I think this is one of his better films. But there were a lot of other strong characters, a lot of big supporting cast. I thought Jeff Daniels played a really great bureaucrat in the movie. And I thought Chiwetel Ejiofor played a great counterbalance to Jeff Daniels' bureaucracy. He tried to play a much more human element. And then you had Sean Bean playing the even further side of that, the guy that does some of the underhanded things to to help save Matt Damon's character. And then just, you know, I thought, you know, you got 5 people on the NASA ship. They're coming back on the Hermes.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could talk about, there's 60 roles in the movie. We could talk about literally everybody, which is weird about a man who's trapped in space by himself. But yeah, there's more characters than you'd really care to name. I will say that part of the problem was that I don't think that he became mad enough. I definitely think that there's a lot of more psychological components that it really didn't get into, being trapped alone for a year.
But at the same time, he did have some contact with people, so maybe him going too far, you know, wouldn't happen. But, you know, I agree. I would expect him to go further than he did. But I also thought that you could tell a bit of that in his character behavior and in how much he clearly wanted to be with people at the end. Like, I thought you could tell from the tearing up in his eyes the second that he made contact to everything else. There was... you know, a significant longing to be in touch with people. So I guess in general, I mean, we both really liked the film. Didn't see anything that really killed it for me. The only complaints I would have is that nothing's too mind blowing, but whatever, it's a great film overall. Highly recommended. Definitely worth giving it a show. I don't know if necessarily you need to see it in theaters, but it doesn't hurt for a film that does have a lot of good visuals.
I mean, it's kind of weird because at one hand, I don't think it's necessarily like a must-see, like rush out, go see it now movie. But at the same time, I'm hard-pressed to think of a movie that was better that's come out this year. The visuals were really impressive. The story was really good. Even talking about the visuals, I think it's one of the few movies where I felt like 3D was done well.
I definitely recommend seeing this film. I think it's you could do a lot worse things with your 3 hours. And I'm willing to give this film, I'd say, a strong 8.5 out of 10. I want to push it further than 8.5 because I liked everything that was done. It's just it doesn't have that extra oomph to kick it up to a 9 for me. But I liked it a lot.
No, so I guess what I should say is that I don't feel like anything really detracted from it. I have some things that I didn't particularly like, but it didn't really detract from the story or the presentation or the overall feel. I mean, it might be one of the finest films of its type. I definitely think that it did a lot of things that I expected Interstellar to do, and I think it kind of, you know, exceeded it in some of those areas. But at the same time, I can't sit here and say, go drive and see it right now, so I have to leave it at 8.5.
Yeah, if this looks interesting at all to you, go see it. I mean, what else is out in the theaters right now? I can't think of anything else I'd rather see this week, at least.
I mean, I can't even think of a movie this year that was better than this.
Yeah.
Maybe Star Wars might break it, but
really... don't go down the Star Wars path.
I'm just saying it might, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Cool. Well, I guess that's all we have today with Grizzly Reviews, and I'm Rusty Shackelford.
And I'm Poseidon.
And we'll see you next week with a new review.
Woo! In your face, Neil Armstrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome